Welcome to the channel. Welcome to day 9 of our journey through the Bible reading challenge. Today, we dive into two deeply rich chapters that reveal both God's abundant blessings and humanity's struggles with sin and deception. Genesis chapter 26 shows us how God continues his covenant blessings through Isaac, even in times of famine and opposition. Genesis chapter 27, however, reveals the painful reality of deceit within a family, yet also highlights that God's sovereign plan cannot be thwarted, even through human weakness. Today's passages remind us that while people may act in selfishness or fear, God's promises remain steadfast. His plans will unfold exactly as he wills. Today's reading, Genesis chapters 26 to 27. What we will read today, God's covenant blessing continues through Isaac. Isaac repeats Abraham's mistake, yet God remains faithful. God's blessing brings prosperity, even in times of difficulty. Jacob deceives his father Isaac to receive the blessing. Despite the deception, God's sovereign plan is fulfilled. Now let us read the Genesis chapters 26 and 27. Chapter 26. Isaac and Abimelech. 1. Now there was a famine in the land besides the previous famine in Abraham's time, and Isaac went to Abimelech king of the Philistines in Gerar. 2. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. 3. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham. 4. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and will give them all these lands, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed. 5. Because Abraham obeyed me and did everything I required of him, keeping my commands, my decrees and my instructions. 6. So Isaac stayed in Gerar. 7. When the men of that place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister," because he was afraid to say, "She is my wife." He thought, "The men of this place might kill me on account of Rebekah, because she is beautiful." 8. When Isaac had been there a long time, Abimelech king of the Philistines looked down from a window and saw Isaac caressing his wife Rebekah. 9. So Abimelech summoned Isaac and said, "She is really your wife. Why did you say, 'She is my sister'?" Isaac answered him, "Because I thought I might lose my life on account of her." 10. Then Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the men might well have slept with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." 11. So Abimelech gave orders to all the people, "Anyone who harms this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." 12. Isaac planted crops in that land and the same year reaped 100-fold, because the Lord blessed him. 13. The man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. 14. He had so many flocks and herds and servants that the Philistines envied him. 15. So all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. 16. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Move away from us. You have become too powerful for us." 17. So Isaac moved away from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar, where he settled. 18. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died, and he gave them the same names his father had given them. 19. Isaac's servants dug in the valley and discovered a well of fresh water there. 20. But the herders of Gerar quarreled with those of Isaac and said, "The water is ours." So he named the well Esek, because they disputed with him. 21. Then they dug another well, but they quarreled over that one also. So he named it Sitnah. 22. He moved on from there and dug another well, and no one quarreled over it. He named it Rehoboth, saying, "Now the Lord has given us room and we will flourish in the land." 23. From there he went up to Beersheba. 24. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." 25. Isaac built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. There he pitched his tent, and there his servants dug a well. 26. Meanwhile, Abimelech had come to him from Gerar, with Ahuzzath his personal advisor and Phicol the commander of his forces. 27. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me, since you were hostile to me and sent me away? 28 They answered, We saw clearly that the Lord was with you. So he said, There ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty with you. 29 That you will do us no harm, just as we did not harm you but always treated you well and sent you away peacefully. And now you are blessed by the Lord. 30 Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and drank. 31 Early the next morning the men swore an oath to each other. Then Isaac sent them on their way, and they went away peacefully. 32 That day Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug. They said, We've found water. 33 He called it Sheba, and to this day the name of the town has been Beersheba. Jacob takes Esau's blessing. 34 When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and also Basemath daughter of Elon the Hittite. 35 They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah. Chapter 27 Isaac blesses Jacob. 1 When Isaac was old and his eyes were so weak that he could no longer see, he called for Esau his older son and said to him, My son. Here I am, he answered. 2 Isaac said, I am now an old man and don't know the day of my death. 3 Now then, get your equipment, your quiver and bow, and go out to the open country to hunt some wild game for me. 4 Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die. 5 Now Rebekah was listening as Isaac spoke to his son Esau. When Esau left for the open country to hunt game and bring it back, 6 Rebekah said to her son Jacob, Look, I overheard your father say to your brother Esau. 7 Bring me some game and prepare me some tasty food to eat, so that I may give you my blessing in the presence of the Lord before I die. 8 Now, my son, listen carefully and do what I tell you. 9 Go out to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, so I can prepare some tasty food for your father, just the way he likes it. 10 Then take it to your father to eat, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies. 11 Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, But my brother Esau is a hairy man while I have smooth skin. 12 What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him and would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing. 13 His mother said to him, My son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say, go and get them for me. 14 So he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food, just the way his father liked it. 15 Then Rebekah took the best clothes of Esau her older son, which she had in the house, and put them on her younger son Jacob. 16 She also covered his hands and the smooth part of his neck with the goatskins. 17 Then she handed to her son Jacob the tasty food and the bread she had made. 18 He went to his father and said, My father. Yes, my son, he answered. Who is it? 19 Jacob said to his father, I am Esau your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing. 20 Isaac asked his son, How did you find it so quickly, my son? The Lord your God gave me success, he replied. 21 Then Isaac said to Jacob, Come near so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esau or not. 22 Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. 23 He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau, so he proceeded to bless him. 24 Are you really my son Esau? He asked. I am, he replied. 25 Then he said, My son, bring me some of your game to eat, so that I may give you my blessing. Jacob brought it to him and he ate, and he brought some wine and he drank. 26 Then his father Isaac said to him, Come here, my son, and kiss me. 27 So he went to him and kissed him. When Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him and said, Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. The 28th of May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. The 29th of May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed and those who bless you be blessed. 30 After Isaac finished blessing him, and Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence, his brother Esau came in from hunting. 31 He too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. Then he said to him, My father, please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing. 32 His father Isaac asked him, Who are you? I am your son, he answered, your firstborn, Esau. 33 Isaac trembled violently and said, Who was it, then, that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed. 34 When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry and said to his father, Bless me too, my father. 35 But he said, Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing. 36 Esau said, Isn't he rightly named Jacob? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. He took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing. Then he asked, Haven't you reserved any blessing for me? 37 Isaac answered Esau, I have made him lord over you and have made all his relatives his servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. So what can I possibly do for you, my son? 38 Esau said to his father, Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father. Then Esau wept aloud. 39 His father Isaac answered him, Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above. 40 You will live by the sword and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck. 41 Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, The days of mourning for my father are near, then I will kill my brother Jacob. 42 When Rebekah was told what her older son Esau had said, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, Your brother Esau is planning to avenge himself by killing you. 43 Now then, my son, do what I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. 44 Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. 45 When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word for you to come back from there. Why should I lose both of you in one day? 46 Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I'm disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among the women of this land, from Hittite women like these, my life will not be worth living. Now let us see the summary and insights of the chapters. Genesis chapter 26 describes Isaac finding peace and reconciliation with the Philistines of Gerar, culminating in a covenant and the establishment of Beersheba, while chapter 27 details how Isaac's blind desire for his favored son Esau led Rebekah and Jacob to deceive Isaac into giving Jacob the birthright and father's blessing intended for Esau, causing Esau to vow revenge on Jacob. Genesis chapter 26. The Lord's covenant with Isaac. Genesis chapter 26 focuses on Isaac's journey, which includes a test of his faith, prosperity, and disputes over water rights. A test of faith. Following a famine in the land, Isaac moves to Gerar and is tempted to flee to Egypt. The Lord appears to Isaac and reiterates the covenant promises made to his father, Abraham, including the blessing of his descendants. God tells Isaac to stay in the land, and Isaac obeys. The deception. In Gerar, Isaac lies to King Abimelech about his wife, Rebekah, fearing that she will be taken from him because of her beauty. Abimelech eventually discovers the truth when he sees Isaac showing affection to Rebekah. Abimelech rebukes Isaac but also issues a decree protecting both Isaac and Rebekah. Conflict and peace. The Lord blesses Isaac greatly, leading to such prosperity that the Philistines become envious and fill in the wells his father, Abraham, had dug. King Abimelech asks Isaac to leave the area because he has become too powerful. Isaac moves to the valley of Gerar, where he and the local herdsmen quarrel over wells. He eventually settles in Beersheba. Renewal of the covenant. In Beersheba, the Lord appears to Isaac and confirms his promises once again. This prompts Isaac to build an altar and pitch his tent there. Later, Abimelech comes to Isaac, acknowledging that the Lord is with him, and they make a peaceful treaty. Esau's wives. The chapter concludes by noting that at age 40, Esau takes wives from among the Hittite women, which brings great grief to Isaac and Rebekah. Insight. God's faithfulness isn't dependent on our perfection. His blessing rests on his promise, not our performance. Genesis chapter 27. The deception of the blessing. Isaac's plan. As Isaac grows old and blind, he decides to give his final, patriarchal blessing to his favorite son, Esau, the elder. He asks Esau to hunt some wild game and prepare a tasty meal for him before he bestows the blessing. Rebekah's scheme. Rebekah, who favors Jacob, overhears this plan. She orchestrates a scheme for Jacob to impersonate Esau and steal the blessing. She prepares a meal from the flock, dresses Jacob in Esau's clothes, and covers his arms and neck with goatskins to mimic Esau's hairiness. Jacob's deception. Jacob approaches his blind father, pretending to be Esau. Although Isaac is suspicious of the voice, he is convinced by the hairiness of Jacob's hands and the smell of Esau's clothing. He eats the meal and gives Jacob the blessing, which grants him dominance over his brothers and promises prosperity. Esau's anger and Isaac's regret. Shortly after Jacob leaves, Esau returns with the game he hunted. When the deception is revealed, Isaac trembles violently, realizing he has unwittingly followed God's will to bless Jacob. Esau cries out in bitter grief. He receives a lesser blessing, which promises that his descendants will one day break free from Jacob's rule. Jacob's escape. Esau vows to kill Jacob after their father's death. Hearing of this, Rebekah sends Jacob away to her brother Laban in Haran until Esau's anger subsides, though it would be many years before Jacob returned. Rebekah convinces Isaac by complaining about Esau's foreign wives and urging Isaac to send Jacob to find a wife from their own family. Insight. Human sin brings pain and division, but God's sovereign plan prevails. His purposes cannot be undone. Now let us see the reflection thought. These chapters challenge us to reflect on faith, trust, and integrity. Isaac is blessed abundantly even in famine, showing us that God's favor is not limited by external circumstances. At the same time, the story of Jacob deceiving Isaac for the blessing shows the brokenness of human choices. Yet here is the powerful truth: God's purposes are greater than human failures. Even when mistakes, fears, or sins enter the picture, God weaves His perfect plan. This truth encourages us today. Our failures cannot derail God's promises over our lives. His sovereignty is greater than our shortcomings. Now let us see the overview and key verses of these chapters. Genesis chapter 26. God's blessing on Isaac. Famine drives Isaac to Gerar, but God reaffirms His covenant promises. Like Abraham, Isaac claims Rebekah as his sister, revealing human fear. God still blesses Isaac abundantly, making him prosperous. The Philistines envy him, leading to disputes over wells. Isaac persists peacefully, and God appears to him again, reaffirming His covenant. Genesis chapter 27. Jacob's deception and Esau's loss. Rebekah and Jacob conspire to deceive Isaac for the blessing. Jacob pretends to be Esau, and Isaac blesses him. Esau returns too late and weeps bitterly over losing the blessing. Tension and division erupt within the family, but God's plan for Jacob to carry the covenant continues. Let us see the key verses from Genesis chapter 26. First, Genesis chapter 26 verses 2 and 3. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you." It is a reminder that God's presence and blessings are tied to obedience and trust, even when circumstances look uncertain. Second, Genesis chapter 26 verse 12. Isaac planted crops in that land and the same year reaped 100-fold, because the Lord blessed him. It encourages faith that God can prosper and multiply our efforts beyond imagination when we rely on Him. Finally, Genesis chapter 26 verse 24. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." It gives an assurance that God's covenant promises continue through generations and that His presence dispels fear. Let us see the key verses from Genesis chapter 27. First, Genesis chapter 27 verses 28 and 29. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed and those who bless you be blessed. It is a reflection on God's blessing carrying power, favor, and destiny. 2 Genesis chapter 27 verse 33. Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who was it, then, that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." It highlights the weight of God's spoken blessing. Once declared, it cannot be undone. Finally, Genesis chapter 27 verse 41. Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are near, then I will kill my brother Jacob." It is a cautionary verse showing the destructive power of resentment, urging us to seek reconciliation and forgiveness instead. Let us see the recommended key memory verses. First, key verse from Genesis chapter 26. Genesis chapter 26 verse 24. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." Why this verse? This verse captures the heart of Genesis chapter 26, God's covenant faithfulness, His presence that removes fear, and His blessings that extend across generations. It reassures believers that God's promises are not limited by circumstances but are anchored in His unchanging faithfulness. Now key verse from Genesis chapter 27. Genesis chapter 27 verse 28. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. Why this verse? This blessing spoken by Isaac to Jacob emphasizes God's provision, abundance, and favor. It serves as a spiritual reminder that true blessing comes from God alone, and when He blesses, it overflows into every area of life. Together, these verses give a powerful balance of God's faithful promise and presence and God's abundant provision and blessing, and remind us that God's faithfulness and blessing rest on obedience, trust, and His unshakable covenant. They also caution us about human weaknesses like deceit, bitterness, and unforgiveness that can disrupt relationships but never derail God's plan. Now the recommended memory verse for day 9. Genesis chapter 26 verse 24. I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham. Why this verse? This verse beautifully reassures us that God's presence and blessing are constant. Just as He was faithful to Abraham and Isaac, He is faithful to us. In times of fear, uncertainty, or opposition, God's word is clear. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Now the daily challenge. Read Genesis chapters 26 to 27 prayerfully and calmly. Journal about a time when God's faithfulness carried you through fear, failure, or conflict. Reflect on a thought. Do you tend to trust God's sovereignty even when life feels unfair or uncertain? Now let us come together for a prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for reminding us that your plans are greater than our weaknesses and failures. Help us to trust you in seasons of blessing and in seasons of hardship. Teach us to walk in integrity, leaning not on our own strength but on your sovereign will. May we rest in the truth that nothing can stop your promises from being fulfilled. In Jesus' name, Amen. Finally, I would like to end by saying that this is a powerful reminder for us all. God's promises stand unshaken, even when people falter. Your failures do not cancel His faithfulness. His blessings are rooted in His covenant love, not your perfection. Stay encouraged. This journey is transforming us step by step. Join us in the next session for day 10, as we continue deeper into Genesis and witness God's unfolding story of redemption. May God bless you and be with you always.